Now, the ANC Women's League's Young Women's Desk is set to embark on a nationwide strike against gender-based violence on the 1st of August. Now, the Young Women's Desk says it's a shame that women and children continue to live in a state of emergency in the year of Albertina Sisulu and Nelson Mandela. The organization says gender-based violence is a threat not only against women and children, but against freedom itself. Now, joining us in studio for more on the story is Jane Khoza, a Young Women's League activist and a member of the ANC Youth League's National Executive Committee. Thank you so much for your time. You've obviously expressed your support for this march against gender-based violence, but I think now let's look at the timing of it all. This comes at a very critical time. We just did a story now on Arthur Mofokate and the alleged assaults of his girlfriend. Let's look at the timing of it all, particularly also given the fact that it's on Women's Month.
Okay, thank you, Thabo, for inviting us. As the ANC Youth League, the reason why we are supporting the ANC Women's Desk is on the basis that from the 54th National Conference, there was an outcry that in our society there's a deficit of moral ills and so on. So we then decided that it is important that we join this Young Women Desk on the basis that all of us, we have the same interest that we are lobbying and advocating for. So it is good and well that today, whatever that has happened with regards to the case of Arthur Mofokate, this march will seek to respond to issues that, as young women, we are tired of people who are abusing our younger sisters. We are tired of people who believe that gender-based violence, it should be a norm in our society. So the reason why we would feel that we would want to fill up all these 9 provinces, all these streets, it is on the basis that we want to send our message across that we are tired and we want to make sure that everybody, whether the perpetrator or the victims, they must know that these things, these ills, they are not allowed in our society. And you would know, as the ANC, we are being seen as people who actually promote these things as they are being done by our members, more especially high-profile politicians. So it's on this basis that we want to send the message across the world that as young women, we don't support anything that is of immorality.
Okay, we will touch on that a little bit, in a little bit. But tell us a little bit about the march. I understand that it's going to be taking place throughout the country, in all 9 provinces.
Yes.
What's going to happen here in Gauteng?
Okay, what's going to happen in Gauteng is that we will commence from Constitutional Hill to Lituli House. You would know Lituli House, it is our head office. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that everybody gets the message across to say it's not that we're protecting those comrades that have been seen as perpetrators in our organization, but we want to show that as the ANC, we're going to specifically to speak with the center, which is our ANC head office.
Right. Now, last week we had Duduzi Manana, the former Deputy Higher Education and Training Minister. I'm sure you could see this question coming. But, his resignation as an MP sparked a lot of criticism from opposition parties, saying that it was a way to avoid accountability. But then we also know that the ANC Chief Whip Jackson Mthembu said, it was quite upright what he did by resigning. What is your reaction to that, especially in light of Women's Month, which is approaching?
Okay, thank you, Thabo. My comment towards that is that he has showed that he's a good leader, and he shows remorse, because if every time, every day, your name will come up and down as a person who's been seen as somebody who can't be having morality in the society and actually representing the ANC as an organization, and yet you want to take this thing as if we didn't do anything, it is a problem. So I think we must applaud Comrade Mduduzi by taking a stand in ensuring that he resigns, because at times, these people, they would sit and then enjoy all this laxity and avoid that whatever that community are dissatisfied of, it's been done with. So it is important that we must acknowledge that he volunteered himself. Remember, resignation, we are not being forced.
Right.
It's a volunteerism process. And we, as South Africans, we must be happy that Mduduzi has volunteered, and he is as well blessed in showing remorse that he will assist with his packages and so on.
Now, the issue of domestic violence, violence against women and children, with that being sort of a leg of patriarchy, which is something that you touched on. I mean, last week we had the PEC with both in KwaZulu-Natal and in Gauteng, and the Minister of Women in the Presidency, Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, said that she wasn't happy with the fact that there was not enough female representation. What do you say to that?
Okay, thank you, Thabo. I think it was not about the issue that there was not enough female comrades. The issue is that on the top 5, you would only get 1 female comrade as an office bearer.
Right.
But in terms of the whole PEC members, we've got 50-50 representation, of which it's been pushed by the same ANC.
Okay. But then now, you wrote a letter to the president,
yes,
calling for him to declare gender-based violence as a state of emergency in the country. Has he responded to that?
For now, where I'm at, I could indicate that they haven't responded because you would know there's been BRICS Summit, so perhaps it's because of those issues. But today we are going to make follow-up because one of the issues that we'll be noting on our Memorandum of Understanding that will be handed over on Wednesday, it's that part of our letter that indicates that we want him to declare the gender-based violence as a state of emergency. Because by whatever that we are experiencing in our society, in our communities, in our home, it's on the basis that everything that is happening, it seeks to reverse the gains of our democracy. So hence we would want him to declare the gender-based violence as the state of emergency.
But now let's talk about the South African Police Service policing. I mean, we've heard over the years that some women fear going to the police to report a crime out of fear of being intimidated, out of fear of being marked. And also we hear these police officers being really inactive in terms of reacting to these cases. What does that involve? Your letter to the president, does that involve calling on the South African Police Service to put to be more reactive to such instances?
Okay, thank you, Thabo. Always, it's not about the South African Police Service to be reactive, but we want them to be proactive in ensuring that they address our issues, irrespective whether you are a woman, you are a gay, you are a lesbian, or from any society. You must feel free to go and make some complaint in a police station. So hence I'm saying that it's not about them reacting to whatever that will be bringing maybe as victims, but to be proactive in ensuring that people have hope in our system as a whole, not only subs.
All right, so thank you so much for your time. That's Jane Mananiso, an ANC Youth League NEC member, telling us they are supporting the anti-domestic violence march on the 1st of August, which kicks off Women's Month.